protests were sparked by now over 600 criminal complaints against refugees for New Year's Eve refugee assaults. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson on whether this could come to this country. Could this happen here?
Well, it emphasizes the point that the chief responsibility of the leader of the state or the government is to protect its citizens. And that's what they want to have assurance of in Germany. And Merkel has been a great ally of the United States. Germany has consistently stood with us.
But does this hurt her? Does this hurt her?
Well, I think
she's the one that sent 1 million refugees, 1 million into that country.
Right. And so you see her attacking back and saying, we're going to take more security measures, put them in place. She's got to gain the confidence of the German people that they're going to be safe.
All right.
That's a chief responsibility.
Well, certainly, you know, there's many here in this country that are concerned about what we're seeing in Germany. As a former Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, I'm curious what you think about Alabama Governor Robert Bentley suing the federal government over the refugee program here. You support that?
Well, as governor of Arkansas, I've expressed my concern about Syrian refugees.
But would you sue?
No, I haven't sued, and I don't intend to sue.
Okay.
What I've done is to ask President Obama to communicate more directly with the states as to what's happening and to make sure that the Secretary of Homeland Security, the FBI director, sign off and certify that the security measures are in place. I know that it takes intelligence information to know whether a refugee or any other visa holder is going to come to the United States and pose a risk to us. We've got to do a better job of vetting those. Again, I think that whenever you look at refugees, we handle refugees from Central America.
Right. That's where the real crisis is. Maybe it could be argued as a bigger crisis for the southern states.
Well, we aren't asking Europe to help us here. We want to support Europe, but we don't want refugees from Syria being transported across the Atlantic here in the United States, not geographically close. We want to support them in that effort, but we want to make sure the security is in place.
Sure.
And that we're protecting our citizens.
Okay, I want to move on to something else. As a former federal prosecutor, and of course you were, head of the DEA at one point, I got to ask you about El Chapo. Sean Penn, this actor, his involvement with him, there's a lot of talk that he should be investigated, he should at least be talked to by the DEA, and potentially prosecuted. Do you see that happening, Sean Penn?
I'm not aware of any law that he broke. If there is, obviously he ought to be prosecuted, but I'm not aware of any law he broke. But what he did, though, was to disrespect law enforcement and disrespect all the victims of the crimes of El Chapo. And so that's my problem. And I don't think he should have been there. I don't think he ought to be working with a movie production or interviews with somebody who's a notorious escapee that's disregarded both Mexican and U.S. law enforcement. It is a good sign that he's captured. El Chapo needs to be extradited to the United States of America.
And we're working on that right now. Would you have done anything different with regards to El Chapo if you'd have been running the DEA at the time? And I guess obviously you were when he was a threat, but he has become, I mean, probably the biggest drug lord in the world and the most dangerous in the world now.
Oh, absolutely. And I would not second guess law enforcement, how they handled that. I applaud the new level of cooperation between Mexico and the United States. DEA agents now can better protect themselves, better carry out their mission in Mexico, share intelligence. That's the cooperation we need, because this is definitely a United States challenge and a Mexican challenge. We need to work together on.
We need to put him in a U.S. jail so he doesn't build another tunnel and escape like he did in Mexico.
I agree.
Governor, it was great to see you, sir.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Thank you very much for your time.